Hello and one and all, and welcome back to my Bond film series, guys. Sorry it's been a while. Again, I am busy in life. So, yes, and I also want to say I just reached 300 subscribers. And I just want to say a big thank you to those who have been supporting my channel and been continuing watching my videos. I know 300 isn't the biggest out there, but it's still a pretty good number to get of subscribers, and yes, and I hope to get more soon because of you guys. Thank you for that, and I'm probably going to do a video on that at some point. Anyways, welcome back to my Bond film series, guys. Last time I reviewed The Living Daylights. Now we're moving on to some more adult and more mature Bond films, and we're on to the next Bond film in the series we'll be reviewing is License to Kill, which is the fifth Bond film directed once again by John Glenn. This is his last time directing a Bond film since he's done all the Bond movies in the 80s. And this once again stars Timothy Dalton. It's his second Bond film, but last, unfortunately, he's only done 2 movies. And this is the 16th Bond film in the series, and it's the first of the Bond films to not be based on a Ian Fleming novel, even though Timothy Dalton was like the Bond that had kind of the closest connection with Ian Fleming's books, if you guys are familiar with Timothy Dalton. And yes, as always, guys, like with my other Bond reviews, this is going to contain some spoilers in here, so you have been warned. And let's talk about License to Kill. And as always, guys, as I always say, this is my opinion. You know, this is the best I can do. If I don't have much to say, then it's the best I've got. So leave your thoughts down below what you think of License to Kill, and let's get on with the review. Okay. And so this is the first Bond. Anyway, sorry. This is the first Bond film. Well, the last Bond film. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up. The last Bond film, The Living Daylights, was the last time composed by John Barry. Thank you for the great music. You're genius at Bond. This gun barrel sequence is one of my favorites. You just hear that really good music. Dun 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 dun. It's so good, you know, especially to a violent Bond film. I'm like, yes, that is a perfect way to add in a violent Bond film, and I like they did that. And the film opens up after the gun barrel sequence, where you have these people in the wedding outfits. Bond is basically the best man. You know, there's this wedding going on, and yeah, and then we're also lead on to the title sequences, and it has one of my favourite Bond theme songs in the series, by Gareth Knight, I believe is the name. I'm not too sure, but I believe it's the name who sung the song. Got a license to kill. This is easy in my top 10 Bond theme songs in the series. Got a license to kill. And of course, we're opened on and we're introduced to the main villain of the series, called Franz Sanchez, who is wonderfully played by Robert Davi, who, if that's his name, and who is also known for being in the Goonies and the original Die Hard film. Yeah, he was a great villain. He's easily one of the best villains in the series, and probably my favourite villain, Bond villain from the 80s era of Bond. You know, he was menacing. There's quite a few torture scenes, especially where you have this guy on this rope, and then there's this shark below him, and Bond's like, You earned it. You keep the money, old buddy. And then pushes the guy in, and then the shark just gets him, and then the black guy's like, what a terrible waste of money. Yeah, that is a great scene, especially for violent Bond films. Trust me, guys, if Roger Moore was your favourite Bond actor, then this wouldn't be your kind of thing, because Roger Moore is more of a campy Bond. Well, his area of Bond is mostly campy. But this kind of takes probably too serious. And I know some people don't like this Bond film because, you know, it takes itself too seriously at certain points, and, you know, people were like, oh, we weren't ready for Dark Bond just yet. But yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about Casino Royale, which I am so looking forward to reviewing at some point when we get to the Daniel Craig area of Bond. And Timothy Dalton is a wonderful James Bond. I really enjoyed his character. You know, he's the most violent of all the Bonds out there, and Daniel Craig as well. But and you have the main Bond girl who's introduced later, called Pam. You know, she was a great Bond girl. You know, she's one of those Bond girls that can do some action. You know, I actually like Bond girls where they can do some action. Like Agent Triple X from The Spy Who Loved Me, and Dr. Goodhead in Moonraker. And you get some other ones, and some ones in the Pierce Brosnan era, which we'll get into when we review the Brosnan films. And I liked her character. I really liked how she was able to do certain action in this film, which I really liked. It was great, in my opinion. And you get the usual MI6 characters back, like Robert Brown, played by M, who is still my least favourite. This is his last time playing M. He's still my least favourite actor to play M, but he's still not bad. He is not bad at all. It's just that, yeah, I know he is Bond's boss, but he doesn't, you know, really have some charm in there. I mean, but you know, he just doesn't really show much in his movies. It's the shortest time it's the shortest M actor, I think, for runtime of Bond films. Because I think Bernard Lee is the longest time who has played M, along with Judi Dench. And there's a scene where he says to Bond, "Your license to kill is revoked," and which is a great scene in there. And you also get a lot of good action going on. You know, there's a great scene where Bond is using a sniper gun, and there's also another torture scene where this guy gets put into the sort of machine, and Francis basically breaks the pipe, and the guy's head just explodes constantly. That was a straight up hardcore violence of Bond. I mean, I think they should stick to the current rating for 12. But this is the first Bond film to be rated 15 in the UK, and it's also the first Bond film to be rated PG-13 in America and Canada as well, I believe. But you also get another torture scene where Bond is on the conveyor belt, and you know, you get Francis henchman, whoever the villain's called, Drario, if that's his name. I'm looking at it right there. And you know, and then he dies eventually, and then Bond gets back up, and then you have a truck action sequence, which I really love. You know, there's a lot of missiles. It's all fun, and eventually Bond defeats Francis by setting him on fire with the lighter. And then, you know, they have a party at the end, and Bond is in the pool, and that's basically the movie finished. And let's get to some of the other characters. Desmond is also back as Q. He's still great as Q. The MI6 characters, I will say though, one of my only problems with License to Kill is that some of the MI6 characters don't show too much. Caroline Bliss mostly, because she's probably the shortest runtime for a Moneypenny. I think she only appeared in the 2 Dalton Bond films, which was this and The Living Daylights. But she does a fine job in there, but she doesn't really show much in these movies. She showed more in The Living Daylights. And yeah, sometimes the violence can get a bit too much, but I still think the violence is great, honestly. I didn't think it was too early to introduce violence in a Bond film, even some Bond fans that don't like this because they think we weren't ready for violent Bond or dark Bond, because it just takes itself too seriously, which is a reason why some people don't like this one. But honestly, I think this is the most underrated Bond film in the series, because this is the least highest grossing Bond film. If you look on the most highest grossing Bond films, the highest grossing is Skyfall, and then this one is the least highest grossing, which is a cool fact about this one. But so overall, guys, License to Kill is a very underrated Bond film, in my opinion. It has great stuff going on, has a great villain, a great Bond. You have a great Bond girl who's involved in action, which I like. And it has some very violent torture scenes. And I also like Felix Leiter as well, who also appeared in the same Felix Leiter from Live and Let Die, David Hedison. You know, he was probably my favourite out of the classic Felix Leiters, but yes. But License to Kill, despite some of the violence may be a little too much, and a couple of MI6 characters not showing too much, yeah, I would say probably has the most screen time, especially in the scene. Your License to Kill is revoked. But other than that, guys, I think this is a great Bond film, guys, and I prefer this to The Living Daylights, personally. And on my rating scale for letter scale, I'm going to give License to Kill an A-. This Bond film will not be for everybody, because it does have violence in there, and you know, if you like violent action films, then why not check this out? And there you go, guys. That was my review on License to Kill. So comment down below, let me know what your thoughts on License to Kill are, and comment down below, let me know which do you prefer, The Living Daylights or License to Kill. Let me know below, and let's have a great discussion. And as always, comment, like, subscribe, notify the bell before you leave, and share this video. All my social media links will be in the description below. And as always, folks, until my next video, I shall see you guys then, and I love you all 3000.